My mind is not into this at all. You know, it's a really nice day. I never have any help. I finally got some help around here. Like when I say never, I mean never. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hoof Chat. We're live now, so I gotta be positive. Okay, so it's a beautiful day out. I really wish I was out doing stuff, but instead I'm going to be in here talking about the rear of the foot and how it gets distorted and what we can do about it, how we can correct it, things like that. So, okay, to start out with, we're going to look at some pictures. Oh man, I'm drawing blanks here. We're going to look at some pictures of the inner foot. And we're going to look at, first of all, hoof binding and what that is. So hold on just a second. I need to get to the pictures here. Hold on. Let's see. You know that I'm not a multitasker, by the way. I am so one-track minded. Like when I get on one thing, I got to stay on that one thing like till the end and stuff. And so it's really hard for me if I've got my mind tracked in one direction and doing stuff to then reverse a direction and go do something else. So it might take me a second here to get started because my mind has been solely focused on cleaning up around this place. And now I have to take my mind off of it to do this hoof chat, and I'm having a great difficulty. So I got to look up some pictures because what we're wanting to know about is how do you correct these things? You know, how do you, and I just got to tell you, there's a lot of things I just don't know. You know, I have learned a lot more in the last 6 months about how these feet deform. And there's just some areas where I'm just drawing blanks at this moment. You know, when these feet really, really get wrapped in, and I call it wrapped because of the way the heels, when you're trimming that heel buttress out, the way it can totally get wrapped into the center of the foot. I mean, the sides of the foot wrap around. Now, see, I'm having to remember now, last week's hoof chat and what we talked about. And so I had some pictures. Let me go find these pictures. Hold on. That explain that. So, okay, so my mind is getting going here now. It's like an engine on this subject. This is a different car I'm driving now. So, meaning mentally a different car. And then once it gets going, off we go. Let's see. I got to go down to my hoof means just a second and find that picture I was showing you last week. Oh, here we go. Now I need to find the Zoom and screen share, and here we go. Okay, so I do believe, does everybody remember this picture if you were here last week?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So this was on the left here was my mare Molly, and she died in I think it was June or July of 2016. But I had been restoring her heels for about a year. So if you go to YouTube from 2015 on, I talk about how I was figuring out to restore the heels on this mare. So let me find the other picture to show you what her foot was like, how trimmed out the heels were. So just a second, you can just kind of study that there because as I'm looking for these other pictures, I want you to study this. I want you to look at this part of the coronary corium, which grows the hoof wall. I'm not even going to call it really a band per se, because it doesn't look, the coronary band that you got right here, see it, that grows your hoof wall down like this, it doesn't go around the whole foot. It's not a band. Now the periopal does go around the whole top of the foot like that. So that is a band. But the coronary corium that grows the hoof wall, it just goes like this, like from right here around like so, and then to the bar. See, from the bar to the heel buttress around, and then ends here. So you see, it's not really a band, but the periopal, it goes all the way around the whole foot like that. That's all periopal. And it is supposed to stay around the top of the foot up off the ground. It's not supposed to be on the ground. It covers, like up here, it attaches the foot to the leg. See, now the corium for the periopal is right above, right here. And so it grows thickest just to cover up this area right here of the coronary corium that grows the hoof wall. And then it covers, like when you get back here, well, it comes around, it covers the top of the coronary corium, where it is exposed here, where it grows the heel buttress. Let's see, just a minute here. Let me do a little annotating. Okay, so it covers this part right here. Only on the hoof capsule. It attaches to the leg up here. It's attached to the leg, and then it's attached to the hoof capsule, and you'll see it, usually you see it, it's about this wide. And it turns pretty white usually when it gets wet a lot. And so the heel buttress only grows like this. Now, this is pretty cool, I think. But you see, the wall, it grows like this. Now, do you see the difference here in support? How if the wall gets weighted here and it grows too long, it can start pushing the coronary band up here. That's what we call wall jamming. And so you see there, it's just different structurally. And so all along here, it grows like that. See, all along here. And this area of the hoof capsule, this area right here, that's over this is called the coronary band groove. But when it gets to here, right there, it changes, because look at the back of the coronary corium that grows the hoof, the heel buttress right here. See how the buttress is butted up against the coronary corium right here, attached to the back of the heel and butted up underneath it. And so that totally supports the back of this foot here and stuff. And so whereas up here, the periopal, let me get it here. The periopal grows over the hoof capsule, like here, right there, and all along here, starting its growth up here, connected to the leg up there. Okay, by the time it gets back to here, well, right on this part here, and there, it's not under the hoof wall. You know, you have hoof wall right here, growing down from here, down like so. And then you have this groove here that this coronary band is in. But when you get back here, right here is where that groove stops. Okay, right here, you don't have that groove. Right from here back, you don't have a groove anymore. And so you have no hoof wall growing from this part that is protecting that area. So right in here, the periopal grows all the way over this bulb. You might call this the bulb or whatever area. The periopal grows all the way over the skin there. Here you have hoof wall. Here the periopal grows over the top of the hoof wall. It's thickest right in here, and then it thins out right here in this very thin sheet that layers over the outer hoof wall. A very, very thin sheet. See, like I said, from here to here thickest, and then right here it thins out. It's just a very thin, thin sheet that's over the hoof wall, and it helps maintain the moisture of the hoof wall, keeping moisture out and moisture in. And it's a extremely hard substance and a protective coating, almost like a nice hard coating of shellac or varnish. And so, but once it gets to here, there's no hoof wall growing in on this part of the foot, and so the periopal from here grows over this skin, this corium, and right from here back, it's growing over skin because the heel buttress is under here. See, under there, growing under there. And so this skin now, or this periopal, starts to cover the whole back of the foot. And look, there's so many things going on here. Okay, you have your heel buttress, the end of your heel buttress. You have your collateral groove exit. Let me get a different color to mark with here. Okay, we'll just do it with green. You have your heel buttress, which is right here, growing underneath. Remember, it grows down here from underneath, supporting the back of this. Then you have your collateral groove exit right there. Then, and well, no, wait, that's not the collateral groove exit. Wait a minute, that is the, well, yeah, right here. This is the collateral, bottom of the collateral groove, right there. And right there would be your collateral groove exit. And then frog. You have your frog all combined in here. Anyway, a whole bunch of stuff. Let me clear some stuff off of here. You have a whole bunch of stuff going on back here. You got your heel buttress, you got the bottom of your collateral groove exits, you got your collateral grooves, you got your frog starting, you got your bulbs, your frog stay, all the stuff that's in the back of this foot here. And so you have this periopal that just grows and covers all of this just to tie it all together and make it into a nice, neat package. And so let's see here. Let me clear all this again, get a different color. And so this is my Mary Molly's foot that I trimmed the heels out of for 10 years, from 2005 to 2014, 15, 2015. It was gradual. I started out with just taking the heels back to the base of the frog, which can literally trim them out totally or partially, or depending on the frog health and how thick the frog is, and how much of farrier or trimmer takes them back. Because whenever you take a heel back, you're taking it down. And so gradually what happened, now this is an anatomically correct foot here. This is not. It could have been, it was at one time, but when you trim the heels down and you trim this heel buttress that grows right here gradually out, what happens to this coronary corium that grows the heel buttress? Well, it gets wrapped around. Look at the difference here. Now here is the heel buttress right here. They're pretty straight. Here is her heel buttress pointed in like that. It literally is wrapped around the back of the foot. Well, here it is over here. See that? How this is wrapped around? See, this piece is not sticking out the back of the foot at all, like this right here. This right here has been wrapped around and in like that. And this has contracted. Look at the foot. It's contracted the whole foot. Now, of course, it can't contract the coffin bone, which ends right about in here somewhere. Okay, but it takes all this cartilage. See, all of this is cartilage. Cartilage and fat. Okay, it can take this whole part of the foot and it can pull it down. Look how it's rounded it out here. Just a minute, I need a different color so it shows up better. Well, let's use red. Oops, wait a second. So see, that's not supposed to be pulled down like that. It's not only pulled down, it's wrapped around that way, wrapped round in. And so that's why it grows this heel buttress pointed over like that. And you can look at this too. Look at the difference. Now, these are to size, okay? And so look at the difference in the size of the hoof capsule as well. Look at the difference here in the distance. Okay, let's see. This is the collateral groove right here. Only on the inside of the foot, it's not a groove, it's reversed. Like it supports under here. So this is the collateral groove, or they call them something else. Does anybody else know there's another name for those? Has anybody heard of that?
I have, but I don't remember.
Yeah, me too.
Is that like commissures?
Yeah, there you go.
Or, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, the commissures, but they're reversed on the inside, you know, because they support the underneath the foot like this. See? And so just look at the difference here on this horse, who maybe was trimmed 3 times in his life and self-trimmed out in a 40-acre sod pasture in Kansas. And I wanted to get how his feet looked, because you would have looked at him and went, my gosh, that's horrendous. But at the time when I got those feet, I was just putting together all the steps that I had been using to trim that I had learned over a number of years. And I thought I'd really like to help people learn to do this. And so I sat down and I just started writing down steps. Well, first I take pictures, and then I do this, and then I do that, and da-da-da-da-da. And so I wrote down all those steps, and I took one of those feet and I just mapped it and I trimmed it, and that thing trimmed up perfectly. And all I had to do was knock off a bit here and there. So I will find those pictures, but I don't want to do it today because it would take me quite a while. Okay, so well, look at hers. Here, look at her commissures or collateral groove. See, this and this was stuff I didn't notice when I got this foot after I did her foot. And so at the time I did not recognize all that was deformed on her feet. Now I do, because I have things to compare it with, and I understand this stuff I'm telling you right now about this thing here. The back of the coronary corium. I don't know why they call it that. Well, they usually call it a coronary band. We can still call it a band since that's, the coronary band that grows the hoop wall. So I did not realize when I was doing her foot here that it was kind of missing. Well, now we know where it went. It got wrapped around the back of the foot into here. And you see how the heels are contracted. Not only is this area pulled down to round it out here, but it's also wrapped around here. See, and then it's contracted like what you see over here. You see how that's just pulled around there like that? That's the sole. Okay, you can't even see a very good outline on this foot. This foot is worse, this one here, because at least she had some space between her bulbs. She still had some frog stay, whereas this horse has none. And when they dissected this foot and people were looking at it, they said, well, that's just terrible thrush. No, it's not. That is the space between the bulbs. That is how contracted this horse's foot is, that there is absolutely no space between the bulbs at all. And so you can really see a difference in these 2 feet. This is anatomically correct. This is what we want. Here's another thing that was different in Molly's foot. Well, look at how the shape of the bottom of the foot. Let me get a different color here. There we go. Look at the shape of the bottom foot comes up here, kind of just does this. Whereas, look at the heel here. See that? How that heel is defined? Well, I'm going to tell you right now that this mare has the same foot. She has the same foot. She has the exact same anatomy, but this is what has happened to her anatomy because of the way she was trimmed by me and probably some before that, but not as much as then when I did natural barefoot trimming on her for 10 years. And so in 2016, I started restoring. I thought I had restored her feet. And when I did the dissections on her, I learned a lot, but I didn't know that her feet were not anatomically correct. And so then when Milena Minotti did a super nice video about hoof distortion, we used Molly's foot for the anatomically correct foot, but her foot was not anatomically correct. And so I have a real hang up about stuff like that. Like if it's not just perfect, I don't want to promote it, and so but yet that's still a really good video to show you the basics, and I suppose most people, they're not going to notice, just like I didn't at the time, that, well, yeah, that foot is not anatomically correct because it's been deformed. Now, could it have been restored some more? I think so. All in all, it was still a pretty good foot, but you see how important this is to the back of that horse's foot. For one thing, this area right here, let me get a different color. Right here, your white line, oh, wait a minute. Is your white line there? Trying to think. No. Okay, right here. You know, the wall grows down here, and then right about here is where it attaches to the sole, and then they grow down like that. That would be in the heel buttress area. That'd be this area here. Okay. But this area here, let's see, what color, what do I want to mark it with? We'll do pink. From where the wall is attached to the lamina. Okay, see a lot of heel and a lot of lamina right in here for that hoof wall that's growing here, that heel buttress that's butted up against the back of the foot right in here, and then attached to lamina all the way down to here. Do you see how structurally that is vital for the back of that horse's foot? And so there's a certain depth in here. Now, see, this is, she didn't have as much depth. She just had a little bit. Okay. He had a lot more there. So a lot more depth in there for attachment in this lamina all the way around here into the bar. There's your bar. See? And so as the heels are trimmed out, and of course, some of the depth on her was restored right in here. But now imagine on these horses where the heels are totally trimmed out and the heels are smashed like this, what is holding the back of that capsule on the foot? Can you see the importance of, see now your heel, let me undo this here. Your heels, when you think of heels, all right, your heel goes from, well, wherever the cartilage starts here. Let me see here. Okay, so your coffin bone is about to here. And all this is cartilage. Your heel is cartilage. So, well, and all in here, it's all movable and stuff. So all this is cartilage. So this is your heel, people. This is the inner heel, this whole area. That's your heel there. Let me get another picture here. Because, well, okay, that's your heel on the inner foot. Hold on. Hold on. I'll just go ahead and do this in pink too. Just a second here. And so this heel, this is all your heel here. Of course, I include the frog too, but this is your heel. So you don't want to think of heel as just this little point back here. I think that's the way people think of it a lot. The real heel is what's in here. Okay, and so we're not only restoring the capsule, what we're trying to do is we're trying to undo what's been done here so that it's more like this, so that this coronary band that's been wrapped around in here, these heels will widen out. You'll get more frog stay, a wider frog stay, wider collateral grooves, more depth in here. And you can see hers was that way. Like at the time, I couldn't understand when I looked at the back of the foot why she had this really strange wrinkly skin. And it's because her heels were supposed to be more spread out, like over here. See, if this capsule would have been wider and her heels over here, that it would have pulled this apart so that her collateral grooves would have been wider, just like what you see over here, you know. See his over here, how wide that is, how nice and wide the back of the foot is here. That's the way hers should have been. And so what we find that we're doing is, yes, we're growing heel on the capsule. We are changing the boundaries of things because everything's moved and condensed and compressed, and you've got a smaller version of what your horse's foot really is. Because, as I say, it's foot binding. You take all this and you wrap it and you pull it and you smash it into a smaller container. And so what we're trying to do is enlarge the container. And so we cannot well, let's see how to do this. I think you go through stages where you release and things grow. Just a minute. And then you have to, yeah. Somebody say something?
May I say something before we go on this? Yes,
Sure.
I want to say something.
Go right ahead.
We're talking about the periopal band. Hi everybody, I'm Angeliki.
Hello.
So we are hello. So we are talking about the periopal band, but this small piece of periopal band, I think that is chasing the heel buttress, and I've seen it in the 99% of the horses I trim. It stretches and it goes under, and is chasing. This is the word, chasing the heel buttress, which is under or hidden somewhere.
Yeah.
So I think that we have to distinguish the periopal band from this little piece of periopal band of the heel buttress periopal, and we have to find a new name for it, because it's very different from the whole thing. It's not the same. It is stretched, it goes, it makes a trapezium shape, it goes under, it is trying to get into the bulbs. It is different.
Yeah.
It's the same material, but we need to distinguish it.
Well, yeah, I see what you're saying.
In Greek, I don't have names for many things. I don't have a name for the apex of the frog. I don't have a proper name for the heel buttress. I mean, I am in a lack of many names, but at least in English, we should distinguish this little band, which is on the back of the foot.
Yeah.
And it goes always, it makes such a difference from the rest of the band.
Yeah. Well, Bracy Clark called it a frog curtain, but it's not frog. You know,
no, it's not frog.
You know what I think is interesting is how, okay, so as it used to be, Greek was the lingua franca, you know, all the politics, learning, everything come from Greek. So many of our words, all the words periopal came from
let's say supporter.
Yeah.
Or something like, because it looks and it search the heel buttress to support it.
Well, yeah, see what happens is, and what the whole periopal does, including the back of the foot, is it goes into overtime, trying to grow and save the capsule from coming off. And so it'll grow over both sides of the frog here. See, it'll grow
Yes,
down
exactly.
the middle, this one that's right here. Okay, now this is anatomically correct right here. And here it would be
Exactly.
just fine. It's thicker on the back here than it usually is on this part of the foot up here. And so as long as everything's fine, it stays right here. But as
Right.
soon as you start trimming out those heel buttresses and the back of the foot starts being pulled down, okay, you got to remember it's attached to the leg. See, it's attached right here.
Exactly.
All right. And at the same time, it's being pulled under like this. See? And so, and of course, it's right here. It's attached right here. And so it's all being pulled down. And so what I've been seeing is how it starts doing this weird thing where it starts stitching together like
Exactly.
this, as this, but it's all still just the periopal bend. It's just that it's designed to, when the foot is compromised, to start taking over, to get thicker, to grow in such a way as to try and save the capsule.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is searching to the heel buttress to take it. I mean, the heel buttress takes it with it when it is
Yeah.
out of the right position.
Yeah, because it's like growing from here,
Yeah.
it's growing from there. And so if that gets wrapped around here, it gets wrapped around with it, you know. And you know
Yes,
how
yes.
things like when the bar grows too long, it can lay over and merge with the sole and all that, you know. Well, this thing gets wrapped around it and it starts growing over the frog. You know,
It's very difficult to distinguish it when you have no heels at all.
yeah, it
Because
is.
many times I find it in the middle of the frog.
Yeah, we should look at Holly's. Holly just sent me a picture of her horse and how it looks, and we'll take a look at that to see that. So but the thing about it is it's growing there for a reason, to hold that foot together and stuff. And so you know, we trim periopal, we trim the frog, but here's the thing. I really believe that we need to learn more about controlled release instead of just taking it all off and, you know, trimming too much. I mean,
Exactly,
because I've done
exactly.
that.
Yes, exactly. You cannot trim it off because this is the insurance that your heels do not explode.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're saying. And
So,
you're
Linda,
right, totally.
how do we address the distortions if we don't take the periopal off? How do we do that
Well,
then?
I'm not saying that you don't take any off. Okay. I'm just saying that you have to assess the foot and determine how much and where you're going to take it off. You know, sometimes I've seen, and what I've been doing is that sometimes when you're getting a lot of change in the foot, you kind of let the foot need to get established where it's at, and then kind of reorganize and go again, is all I can say. Like, especially you're heading into a wet season or something like that. Like, if my foot was totally bound like this and I knew it, like, I would want to totally I want some growth, because another thing I noticed is that as you're growing heel in and as you're just keeping boundaries, okay, even on the periopal, you're keeping boundaries. You're, you know, keeping your frog, you know, so that's not just all dead, dried, dead up frog and stuff like that. But you're starting to keep boundaries on these bars, you know, boundaries on your bars. You're starting to get your frog growing, loosening things up. You're growing in heel. See, that's a big part, is you're growing in heel. Pretend this is wall higher than the sole. Okay. And this is all pulled down back here. Well, as you're growing heel, it's going to allow this to release and push up, because the growth will stay in up here and push this up. Let me undo that. You know, the big part of this is really learning your boundaries, being consistent in the trim, because the foot has to do all this. See, all
And-
we're doing is we're trying to create an environment that it can do it in.
And you
You know-
have to wait because it takes time.
Yeah, that's a big part.
Micro trims and time.
Yeah,
It comes by itself, but it takes time.
yeah, that sounds good. Micro, this is me. That sounds good. Okay. It does sound good. Micro trims and time. You know, I have a tendency, because, you know, I get in my mind what a good foot is. You know, I have a tendency sometimes to over trim. You know, I kind of did that with my frogs. I was going so good, and my foot was, you know, just a second. Yeah, I have a tendency to sometimes over trim. You know, sometimes you under trim, sometimes you over trim, sometimes you get it just right. But the one thing you get to remember is it's really about creating boundaries and creating an environment in which the foot can change. You know, keeping your bars over, keeping your frog trimmed, but not over trimmed. You know, and it's something each of us have to learn individually that is sometimes hard to explain perfectly to someone. Somebody asked me last week, you know, about something like this, and I just had to say, I don't know. I don't know. You know, totally getting some of these feet unbound, you know, I don't have an answer for. Like, you know, when this is so wrapped around and you haven't even got anything in between there, you know, what do you do to get a foot like that unbound? You know, I can, well, we can look at, well, I know people that are working on feet like this, you know, but as I know that we will get the answers, but I don't have all the answers for how to do that. Now I've had some success with my own horse, and there are other people that are having some success. Like, let's go look at Holly's horse just a minute here. That she's been working. How long have me and Holly been working together? 6, 7, 8 years, you know, trying to figure this stuff out. So let me go find Holly's horse and look at it, and you'll see how that foot, her horse's foot, was very contracted like this. You know, see, it's not just heel contraction. I mean, look at the cartilage, how the whole cartilage gets wrapped around the back of the foot, you know.
Linda,
Yeah.
hi, it's Monica from Germany.
Hi, Monica.
Hi. Could I ask a question before you go to the next pictures?
Sure.
Before 5 minutes, you was drawing a line on the picture from the 8-year paint gelding. You know, the inner foot, which we're seeing now.
Yeah.
And you draw where the white line starts at the heel buttress.
Right here.
Yes, exactly. And I'm wondering, because you know, you showed us the one picture from
Wait a minute, it's right
half
there.
dissected hoof from Pete Remy on the motorcycle. You know which picture I
Yeah.
mean?
I drew that
Yes,
white line in the wrong spot.
I'm not sure, but
Right here.
I always wondering if I looked on this specific picture from Pete Remy, I'm always wondering how could it be that the white line is that much high, and why is it this way? It's so confusing. I don't know.
Here, let's let me just pull that picture up real quick, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, so eh. Okay, so fair use, dude. All right, let's see here. I got the inner foot here somewhere. Okay, so you're talking about just a minute here. Come on, open up just a minute. I'm looking for the place. There we go. New share. This picture, right?
Yes. Exactly.
Okay. So you want to know where the white line is?
Yeah, it's
The white,
looking it looked like right under the right where the heel buttress start, right under the
okay, okay,
yes.
that foot I just showed you was a foot that I got, okay,
Ah,
that was
okay.
correct, right? And so the white line right where the wall grows down, heel buttress is connecting to in right here. When
Yes.
it gets right about here, it connects with the sole corium, and so the white line would be right here.
Oh, okay.
Okay, see,
Mhm.
there's a white line all the way to here, because what that is this sole corium right here makes this glue that it squirts into the lamina of the hoof wall to attach the sole to the hoof wall. Because the sole itself does not have lamina, doesn't have
Yes.
those little leaves, you know. So the wall grows down, and right here in this thing, right here, where this lips up over, the sole corium lips up over the side of the foot, it squirts that yellow glue in there, and it's yellow, just like rubber cement, and glues the sole to the wall.
And it's everywhere on the same spot, on the toe and on the back.
Yeah, all the
But
way around the foot, including the
yes,
bars. Including the
yes.
bars.
But there is one other picture where the hoof wall is in the front of the foot on the hoof is not dissected, but on the back a part of the hoof wall is dissected. And I don't know why, but maybe it's a
Are
I
you
don't know how to say.
just a minute?
Uh,
New share. Which are you're talking about the same foot? This is just black and white.
Okay.
Okay. So which part you're talking about back here?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Well, let's see here. Okay, so this is your heel butt. Well, here, look, just like on the other foot, here's your coronary corium band right here.
Yes.
Okay. And here, your heel buttress grows from the bottom of that, is connected to this part of the foot. Now, the shape of the foot is like so. There's your heel of the inner foot. And so then the heel buttress that grows from here is attached to the back of that foot but right to here is where the sole starts.
Yes, and the
Okay,
lamina.
this is still heel buttress. Okay,
Mhm.
but right here is where your sole starts, and right here is where it starts injecting that glue into the heel right here.
Yes, okay. Maybe it just looked like on the photo, like a optical illusion.
Oh, I'll tell you what, just like I was just explaining and showing and marking stuff, and I realized I marked something wrong on that other
Okay.
picture, see? So let's see here.
Thank you.
Um,
It's okay.
like,
I understand.
okay,
No, I think
well, hey, there's a lot going on there. You know,
Yes, thank
there's a
you.
lot going on in these feet. Let me look here. Da, 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 da. Here, let me put this up here while I'm looking for that other one. Just a second. Screen share. Okay, now here you can really see how much heel that horse has right there.
Mhm.
You know, and so some have a little less, like the last dissection I did on a back foot, this is a front foot. On a back foot on this standardbred, he had a little less right here, a little less depth right here in that foot, but they all should have some defining in here. So what happens when they're totally squashed? Like, let's see here. Like these. This is
Compressed.
just a minute here. Where am I sharing here? Like these. You see how the whole back of the cartilage is pulled down and how
Yes,
this is all squashed forward? Your heels
totally.
can't not help but grow forward when all this is pulled down. That's why you keep the heels trimmed out so nobody notices. I mean, that nobody's doing that on purpose, but that's the extent of it. So let's see. Okay, so I was going to go and show you Holly's. Here, let me put up something here just temporary while I'm looking.
Linda,
Just-
hi, it's Megan. I just wanted to ask a question, but if now's not okay, that's also all right. It's
Is
just
it
about that inner foot.
okay? What was it?
It's just an anatomy question, and maybe everyone else gets this, but I'm confused. You said earlier on there's the coffin bone, which takes up about half to 2/3 of that inner foot, and that the back section is cartilage at the bottom. So is
Okay,
that
no.
cartilage, if
First
you
of all,
squash it and press it with your hand, is it soft? Is it movable? I just don't really understand what the material is like.
it's fat and cartilage, like in your nose. Like it's a little heavier, not as movable, but close.
So could you just highlight with your pen the area that is made of fat and cartilage that's movable, like a nose or ear,
Well,
where
I
the
can,
coffin bone isn't? Is it everywhere except for the area where the coffin bone is?
yeah, I can show you here. Let me turn this on. Yeah, because see, that's important to know. And then we're going to look at Holly's foot. You're going to see how bound up that was. Let's see here.
Yeah, because looking at that picture, I look at it and I think, I mean, before this conversation, I thought the majority of that sort of area underneath the coronary band was mostly coffin bone and like very hard material, which is why my brain was kind of going, well, how does it
Yeah. See, yeah,
move if it's hard?
no, that's a great question. Let's see. Let me find this here. Hold on. Okay, well, I'm hoping I can find it. This device, everything is going funky on me here. Hold on. I got to close out some stuff or this isn't going to open. Oh, wait, maybe it will. Hold on. I need to close some stuff. Oh, don't close that. Second here. Pictures. Well, this thing is wanting to be difficult. So take that out. Take that off. Try this. A second. Huh. How come you don't want to work? Well, let's take you out. I got this on chips. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Well, this stupid thing has decided it just doesn't want to function. What in the world is going on? To-do. Let me see if I can get this other one to work. I got it on these chips. Because it is important to understand this aspect. So I'm glad that you asked the question. Okay. Well, remove that. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, I think I can find it now. Okay. Maybe not.
Can I just jump
Yeah,
in?
go
for a
ahead and
second?
somebody talk and say something.
Okay. Can you please repeat the question because my kids are yelling the 5 minutes ago and I don't hear the question. Maybe you can repeat it. That would be great.
Hi,
Oh.
Simone. I don't know if Linda, do you want to repeat the question? Or do you want
No,
me to
could you
repeat
do it while I'm looking for this?
Yeah, sure. Simone, I was just asking Linda, that picture middle at the bottom of the internal foot. Linda drew earlier on a pic, like an outline of the area that's made up of soft tissue and fat, and where the pedal bone or the coffin bone sits in the foot. And I've always just assumed that that whole lower section was not hard hoof matter, but, you know, pretty firm and immovable. But then looking at the other photos that she showed, or the one on the left where those two words that say tact on Molly's foot, I just wasn't understanding if the coronary band overhang, or whatever we're going to call it, is dropping down because we've removed the buttress. How is that internal matter that I thought was quite hard and firm and immovable, how is that decreasing in size? I always thought it was just that we were decreasing the hoof capsule. Sorry, I'm rambling here, but my question
No,
really
you're good.
Okay, my question really is, what is that matter that's not coffin bone? What does it feel like? Is it like, you know, is it like Play-Doh, or is it like more like hoof? Because it's obviously fairly flexible and movable, but it doesn't appear or doesn't look like it should
Yeah.
be. It looks like it should be harder. It's just
Yeah.
my brain is in a bit of a contradiction here. There seems to be it's not working out in my head.
Yeah, see, and your question, that is exactly right. See, and that is the whole reason why this has not been noticed, because that's kind of the way they've thought about it, you know. So people don't, and the experts and all them, they have not realized, first of all, that this is a separate entity despite it being covered with the capsule, and that it can be so deformed and moved around depending on what happens to the capsule. So let's see. Okay, so I'm going to take you through this last dissection I did to show you the parts so you can get an idea. Okay. So, okay, so this is a rear foot. Oh, just a minute, I gotta move some stuff. And I've already removed the hoof capsule and put the foot back in it. Up here you can see now on your own horse, when you press in here, you'll notice that things are pliable. Like, see, here's the thing. People don't think about this part being the foot, but this is all part of your foot too. The other part is just behind this under here. And so you can palpate this. You can press on this right here to get an idea of what that feels like.
I can give an idea, because I heard from a lady, she's also barefoot trimmer, and she told me 10 years ago, it should feel like your thumb area on your hand, or it should feel like a medium rare, a medium steak.
Oh, okay. Well, see, and
then
what
it should be healthy, but I haven't proved it, so I don't know it's true or not, but it seems it's like the same pressure I need on my nose. So
yeah, well, the thing about it is, if there's a big frog stay in there, it's very hard. If there's no frog stay in there, it's soft-ish. Because, well, you'll see, because that frog stay up there between the bulbs really supports and pushes everything up and firms it up. So it can be different. So anyway, so you see this frog here. Now it was stuck up here, and because the heels were trimmed out a little, it had everything pulled down a little. So as soon as, you know, I removed the hoof capsule and the foot wants to be back up where it's supposed to be. Ideally, if I was to restore this foot, I would have refreshed and regrown the frog that was pretty dead and in a lot of spots. And this would have been fitting higher up in the foot here. Okay, so there's a better picture of it now. You can, what happened? Computer is messing with me. I'm going to have to reopen that.
I'm good at describing things. The lateral cartilages at that point is like your low ear. The material that your ear is attached to your head when they are okay at that point.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Like the lobe of
Yes.
your ear?
Yes, not the lobe we are putting our earrings. The upper part of your ear where it attaches to your head. It's kind of harder, but it's movable.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we're just gonna kind of go through these pictures here. Okay, so I'm gonna show you. Oh man, this stupid computer. Okay, so here you see it, and here's the skin is still on, but I've removed half the skin. Here, this is cartilage over here, and this is all fat. The fat fills it up. This is the digital cushion, and that fat goes clear down into the hoof capsule. You know, well, into the foot that's in the hoof capsule. Okay, so this is it without the skin on it. Here's your cartilage right here. Your bone ends right here. Just guess this stupid thing. Let's see. Let me annotate. Find a color. Oh, let's do the coffin bone. So the coffin bone, which is up here, goes right about to here. Right about in there. And then, so all this is your heel going back into here. Now, actually the heel goes here and the heel buttress around about like so. I'm not doing that perfect. I'd have to look at the other side to do it better. So let me clear some of this. Okay. Just a minute. Okay, so in the capsule, that's what this looks like. Okay, that's a better picture, but see, all this is full of fat. That is fat. Like the kind of fat on a roast that is fat, and it's fat, but it's kind of gristly and you can't chew it up. Like no matter how much you chew it, it never chews up. You just got to spit it out. Adipose tissue. And so, but this cartilage is what keeps the shape of the foot. It's not attached right in here. See there? And so when this pastern here descends down to the ground, it spreads this cartilage open and it pushes down on this fat, which then pushes down on the frog right here. And it all pushes down to the ground, but all of this is pushing up at the same time the pastern is coming down. Now, you see that I have this leg laying down. If I had it up, you would see some definition in part of the heel that's been removed. So this is your bulb down here. You see how it's fat? Now I think that's cartilage, but this is all fat filling it up. This stupid computer. Bone. Now, where I was going to correct you was the coffin bone takes up 1/3 of the foot, and the fat and cartilage takes up, well, because P2 is halfway inserted into the foot, that takes up a part of it, but the rest of the foot is fat and cartilage. See, this is why you don't want your bulbs on the ground. They're supported. And you see how, again, this cartilage here, and again, it's not very thick. And then inside of it is all fat. The digital cushion is attached to the inside of that right there. But this is all not totally attached in here because, again, this pastern is wider than this area. And so as the pastern descends down, this all spreads apart on both sides. Okay, so there's your deep digital flexor tendon. That's, of course, in there as well. Goes up the back of the leg here. But you see how it's open in there. See, and that's where your P2 is, short pastern bone. That's just top of your coffin bone right here. But all this still cartilage. So when you take the short pastern bone out, now this is your foot right here. There's your navicular bone. Here's your coffin bone. But it's all covered with skin in one unit. See, and that's a problem. See, they don't see this above the hairline as part of the foot. And they don't see it as all this just being skin. That's all this is. It's a type of skin that grows its own shoe. But see, the skin in and of itself, even though they're different kinds of skin, this grows hair, this grows periopal, this grows hoof wall, this attaches to the lamina of the hoof wall, this grows sole. See, it's still just a layer of skin. So this is your foot. This whole thing is your foot. One unit covered with skin that grows its own capsule. Now, don't be mistaken that because this cartilage is now drooping down here, that this is the shape of the foot. No, it had a definitive heel. See, now the definitive heel is, see, it's so loose and I got all everything out of it. Now it's just flopping down to the ground. Now, what had happened is somebody come in here that doesn't truly know the anatomy, like, you know, some professor at some college that teaches anatomy. Okay. And they come in here and they if they were taught barefoot trimming, okay, they'd think that this foot was supposed to be shaped like this. Just a minute, let me get a color to go with myself here. Okay, and they just think this is how the foot is supposed. Okay, there's your 1 centimeter heel. They think that's a heel. Okay, so they just have it shaped like this. There's your barefoot trimming. Right? Isn't that the foot everybody thinks the horse is supposed to have? Okay, but this is a foot that's been forced on a horse that wore its heels out. Now we were taught to force on our horses by trimming the heels out because this is the image that was put in all of our brains.
So
because
Linda, on that picture that you've got there, that's a really good example because I think I understand very clearly about the cartilage and fat above the coronary band. That I'm clear on. It's that area where you've got that little blue line. And if you look at those, what you call, I think, the dovetail of the lamina, which attaches to the wall. If you look at those lamina there, you can actually see how they've bent, which shows that the hoof has dropped down at the back. Well, that's how I'm interpreting it, because you can see those waves in the lamina.
Yeah.
So my question is, that material there behind the coffin bone, where those bent, where those wavy lamina lines are, what is that? What is that material?
This?
Yes, because the coffin bone is sitting within that foot. Can you draw the coffin bone roughly on that foot, where it is? There.
It's about, let's see.
Is the question, what is the texture of lamina?
Here.
No, it's not really what is the texture of lamina. I'm sorry if I'm wasting everyone else's time. Everyone else understands this, but I just don't, in my head, that material where the pink line was sort of almost part of the bony structure of the internal foot.
Yeah,
but
no.
Now it's looking like that's more of like a soft tissue part of the foot.
Yeah, this is cartilage.
Okay.
It's a type of cartilage. It's a layer. It's cartilage, and then on the inside of it is fat. On the inside of here, you have fat and cartilage. Like the heel cartilage itself is, let me see, is about like so, you know, and then on the inside of here, all of it, like, is fat. We'll look at the inside of it here in a second, and you can see it.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. I just needed to really understand that, because that really explains why us manipulating and fiddling with the back of the foot can have such a quick and drastic effect, really, because I thought that that was hard, but it's actually not.
Yeah,
So
I did too, you know, for a long time. So I totally can relate to what you're saying there and stuff. And so the back of this foot has fallen down because it's not being supported by the capsule. But you see, this is the back of the heel right here. Okay, it would be standing up like this. See, this part here would be up here, and then this coronary band that's now flopped on the ground here would be like this. See there? Okay, but there's no support. As soon as you take the hoof capsule off, it loses its support. The back of that hoof capsule, the configuration of the back of the hoof capsule is what supports the whole back of the foot. Let's see, clear. Okay, I want to continue looking at some of this because we get into the center of it here. So yeah, see how that has to sit up in this capsule and be supported specifically, so it has sole under it. So in these feet now, here, let me find a picture here. Hold on. H. C, D, E, F, G, H. Meme. Okay, here we go. New share. Okay, is this the same foot that we're just looking at right here? Okay, you saw it where I had it out sitting over here. All right, and here is a foot that is purposely barefoot trim that they think is just great, where the heels have been totally trimmed out, that have forced and pulled that cartilage and the digital cushion that is right here that is supported up here. See, supported by this frog stay up where it's supposed to be. Here, do you see how hollow it looks and sucked down? And there's no thickness of frog at all. See, that's what they have us trimming these horses into. And a horse could wear his heels this way, See, that's why none of us would be here if certain Mr. Jackson had just found a different hoof, you know, a different dead horse, one that had heels, and there are plenty of them. So let's see here. I gotta go back to where I was. Just a minute. Okay, see there? That other horse, it has no hoof capsule supporting the back of his foot, and his bulbs are forced to the ground where he is forced to land heel first. See how it's, I mean, you know, torturing these horses. Da-da. Now, see, that is wonderful support. This horse really had a wonderful looking foot. Look at the heel buttress, a little tiny bit turned in there, not much. This big bulbous frog stay, how comfortable that looks. Wide collateral grooves, and the collateral grooves they're covered with a soft frog material. A lot of depth in the heel here, where the heel fits in. Okay, so here I cut out the half of the digital cushion, half of it, so you'll be able to see inside what it looks like here pretty soon. Or I guess maybe I didn't cut it out yet. I don't know what the, oh, yeah, okay, here we go. So I've cut out the digital cushion here and part of the frog corium. See, again, this is the lateral cartilage right here. It's just shaped like your ear has a shape, you know, but connected to the inside of it is that digital cushion that fills all this area up in here. And like fat, you know, if you got any on you, press on it, and you know what digital cushion is like. There you go. Can you see the inside of the cartilage? It's you can't hardly get it totally cleaned out when you're cutting that out because it is so attached to that cartilage right there. But you see the shape of the cartilage, almost like an ear. See? There you can see it even more, how it's cupped. Now, you see why this is part of the foot, why we look at the back of this foot and the cartilage. Now, see, we really have to understand this more in order for many people to brainstorm on how we're supposed to get this totally corrected, you know. Okay, so here I'm showing you how easy that bends around. Now, sure, I've removed the digital cushion, but here's what happens. When that's all full of digital cushion and everything else, and that gets pushed in there, you know, you got a joint, a bone here on a joint. And so this foot rotates a little bit anyway on that joint right in there. And so when all this foot that should be back here gets crammed into that joint, it rotates the bone, it tips the toe down, it pushes the back of the coffin bone up, it rotates that bone on that joint. And the wall is either going to become disconnected and shoot forward, or if it stays connected, what can happen is you can wind up with a can foot, or very steep, small foot, club foot, things like that. So see, that much can be wrapped around in. See there? Oops. Now, when I was doing this, I was pulling the cartilage down, because I always think of it. I knew it was getting wrapped around in like that, but I had in my mind more of thinking of it's pulled down. But as I would pull it down, it would naturally, because of the shape, want to curl in, because it's already curled, right? It's already shaped in a curved fashion. So as it's being forced down, it naturally wants to curve inward. Just like so. This is like the bottom of your foot internally, the bottom of the horse's foot internally, the heel. Again, that's full of digital cushion. The whole thing is full of digital cushion in here. And then harder cartilage underneath it. I got some more here. Just a minute here. Just a second. Just share. Because I have pictures of the other side that I want you to see. Okay. Okay, just a second here. There we go. Okay. So we've looked at, what that looks like internally. Now we're going to look at what does it look like on this side. Okay, now here you see where the corium, the skin, is the whole outer layer. Remember, that skin is a container in and of itself, because this is a foot, just like we have a foot covered with skin. And so the skin grows the different parts. Like here's your frog corium. This would have grown that big bulb. That's what grows that right there, that big frog stay right in here. Okay, here you see the digital cushion right there. And remember, it fills up this whole area here and into the heel. Again, digital cushion, all in there. Here's a navicular bone. There's the coffin bone. Here again, what is this right here? This is skin. This area right here is skin. Here's your soul corium right here. This is skin that grows that frog stay in between the bulb, what we would also call part of the central sulcus. It's all there combined. And then right underneath it, what do we got here? This is digital cushion. Okay, see the shape of it? All right, and it's high up in the foot. Okay, so you'll find pictures where the feet have been deformed by the heels being trimmed out, and it's stretched this digital cushion all the way down to here. And they'll say, oh, that's a healthy digital cushion. No, it's not. See, that is, now this is, of course, what you call a sagittal cut. So down the center of the foot. Now the frog was way up high supporting this digital cushion. Now my finger there would have been, up there in the skin, high between the bulbs, like we were talking about. Again, here we go. This is frog corium that grows the frog stay. This piece right here. And this is the digital cushion in the center of the foot. I need to find this picture. Just a minute. Let me see if I can find it. Just to show you how ridiculous it is. Let's see. Go into FD. DHI. Okay. Okay, so here you see the shape of the digital cushion. If it had the right frog growing between it, that's that skin right there that grows that big bulbous frog. This is a wild foot. Again, whose foot's that? That's the wild foot of Pete Ramey's. The wild horse that he found that belongs to the American people. Okay. So this is the frog stay, just like what I just have been showing you in that dissection I did, where you see that big bulbous frog stay that grows between the bulbs. Here's a barefoot trimming class. People paid however much for. I want you to look at the digital cushion. I want you to look at the hairline. Clear down here. Look at, Mom, no frog. No frog. Look at how when you trim the heels out, it strips that frog stay out from between the bulbs and it forces that digital cushion down and thicker. It takes this part of the digital cushion and it pulls and forces and tears it down into a different shape and form. And then you go to one of these classes and they say this. See, this is a picture I got off the internet. And look, they're in a classroom. And they wrote this on the bottom. Number 2, dissection of an excellent hoof. Note the hairline at the heel. You see what a big crock their teaching of anatomy is? You see? And did they do it on purpose? No. Does it make any difference though when you kill your horse? I don't know. Horse dead, horse suffering, horse tortured, no matter what. See? So, the problem is people, like Bracy Clark said, his experiments, he was deceived by the foot and he was embarrassed by it. I can understand that. See, when you have the experts for hundreds of years teaching error, and then you just build error upon error upon error upon error. That's why you got to get rid of all of it and go back to the drawing board. So anyway, let me go back to this other. Okay, do you see that? Here's that skin that grows the big bulbous frog stay there. Best frog stay I've ever seen. That's how they all should look. And then you see how the digital cushion is shaped. Well, when you trim the heels out of this horse and you pull all that down, then it takes this digital cushion here in the center of the foot and it stretches and deforms and tears and pulls it wider and wider. That's what we're just looking at there. That's what, let's see. That's what happens here. See there? See how that's stretched? There's your digital cushion. Right there. That they were saying was a good foot. Now, these are totally different foot, but these are barefoot trimmed feet. That's what you got right here that they think is an excellent foot. See? How screwy is this? You know, why should I be taking my afternoon to have to figure this stuff out? Why should I have to take 18 years to try and just take, because I wanted to have good feet on my horse? Yeah. So, you know, if they can't get the digit on a horse right, why should you trust them for anything else in your life? See, you should always be suspicious. You know, be suspicious, check things out. Always, you know, safety in a multitude of counselors. You know, I'm so paranoid. Okay, of like if I go to a mechanic and I go get more than one estimate and more than one opinion. You know, not because I necessarily, well, I don't know mechanics, but that I think somebody will purposely do something, but people can be wrong. Nobody is purposely doing this, okay? But people can be wrong. They can be in error. And so you always need to be aware you can be wrong. I can be wrong. See? And so you need to double check things out. Triple check in triplicate sometimes. Just always be aware that no matter how much you think you know, no matter where it's coming from, it could be wrong. You know, because then you kind of stay in a safe place. Always be willing to recheck, like I check and recheck and check over again, even when I think I'm right about something. Like what? I caught myself in an error a little while ago with you guys. I was marking where I thought the lamina or the white line was in yellow, but I was in the wrong spot. So then I had to move it. So anyway, yeah, safety in a multitude of counselors. But even all A can be wrong, and you could find out something that nobody else knew, and you'd be right. And why do we want that? We want that because we want good results in everything. We want success. We want to be successful. Okay. Okay, we're going to go look at Holly's foot. Where am I and what am I doing? Just a second here. And then 12:49. So at 1 o'clock, we're going to end this. I am sorry that I did not get into extended details on how to correct it. Some of it, I'm just not sure yet. What I can tell you for this week is don't over trim your periopal or frog, but don't under trim it. That helps you a lot there, didn't it? Start understanding that you have to keep boundaries. Learn where your boundaries are. We've got lots of pictures of the inner foot. Put that foot in paint and then see if you can draw the parts. Think about how the whole back of the foot, is so movable. See, things like that. Okay, let's see here. Where am I at? I'm trying to go to Facebook to look at Holly's horse so you can see what that foot has done. We're both looking at it going, wow. Because she's had contracted feet for a long time. And a number of years ago, the vet first told her the horse had navicular problems, and then told her, well, you know, it wasn't the navicular, but chances were she's going to be able to do light trail riding, if that. let's see. Okay, found her. Just a second here. Open in Messenger. Okay, let's see. Well, first of all, oh yeah, okay. She had some x-rays. New share. Here we go. She had some x-rays, and on the right and the left, and on the right was the worst foot. And you know how I just told you when all that anatomy gets pulled into here, how it pushes up into the back of the coffin bone, which pushes it onto the joint, which then rotates it. See, just this all gets pushed up here, rotates it, and it'll give you a steeper dorsal wall. And the hoof wall is either going to stay attached and you get a more compressed foot, or if it lets loose, then you get laminitis. That's what you get. Now, oh, wait, before we look at this, let's see. So that, okay, I put these two pictures together so you can see. Here was the left foot, here was the right foot. Now, I want to ask you all, can you see the difference in the back of the shape of this foot? You see, they always look at the bones, and they may look at this and thickness of sole, but they never say anything about this part of the foot, ever. Just a minute. So you have to learn to look at shapes and differentiate. Okay, can you tell the difference in the shape of this from that?
Right
Okay.
one is more bounded.
Yeah, right one is more bounded, and the left one is more uncurled.
Yeah, see, they should be the same. Well, they shouldn't be like that, but you shouldn't have this drastic difference. And so just start looking at x-rays and just notice the bizarre differences in this area of the foot that we have just been talking about, that is all cartilage and fat. Say, so, you know, so you imagine all the anatomy in the back of that foot. Well, where's it going and what's being done to it, you know? Okay, so we're going to look at her horse's foot now that she was showing me. And this also, Angeliki, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. I was looking at the navicular of the right foot on the x-rays.
Oh, really?
Yes, there is something there.
Yeah, there
It's
is.
so stressed, and it almost touches into the no. Sorry, guys, my English are gone.
That's okay, dear.
See, the left is more relaxed, and the left hoof. See, look how it's into the arthrosis.
Oh, yeah, right in this area here.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right
not
there.
so tight. There's more
Yes.
room. I see what you're saying. Yeah, for sure.
Look
Yeah.
how stretched and how this placed is.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can see why, because with all this anatomy, fat and cartilage being shoved up into the back here, and then it rotates. See, it turns on this like a doorknob, kind of chunks down. Well, it's pinching it
Yes.
in there. Yeah, for sure.
And
This
there's
is what
another
I was
difference.
thinking about.
Well, her horse
There's-
doing great now.
There's
If we were
another
to go
difference too.
way back, did you say something, Simone?
Yeah, there's a difference above the coronary band. If you look at the shade from the X-ray,
Yeah.
and yeah, and look at the red at the top. Yes, there.
Yeah.
And then compare it to the other, there's more space to the bone, and you can see that the bone is more pulled over, and that is what you see also from the outside. You see the different shapes of the, there's a little bit on the top of the coronary band, there's a little bit like a little nose, and it goes a little upwards and then a little bit downwards and up
Yeah.
again. And over there is more straight. So
Yeah.
there's
See.
it could be a Hinweis, could be a point to see, okay, there's something wrong inside the hoof.
Yeah.
Because you
Well,
can see
and
it from the outside.
it's all from this deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And look at this. This showing frog way up in there. That's what that is. What always amazes me is how you can never, the heels always look like invisible, almost kind of weird. Okay, so I want to look at her foot here. It's just, let me go back a ways to try and show you what her foot, you see, it's just starting to open up. If we're to go way back, that's not, I was showing her something there. We're working on a horse. She's working on a horse that has DSLD. A different horse. I don't know. She might be her pictures might be way too far back there. That's still the DSLD. She's not here. You're not here, are you, Holly? No, she'd have been piping up. That's still the DSLD horse. Come on. See, we chit chat a lot. Okay. Well, I don't have a when she first started, but here is an example. Right here, this was just starting to open up right there. Okay, so anyway, very, very contracted bulb. See how they're pulled around under here? And like Angelique was talking about how this periopal gets pulled in here with the heel buttress. See, now, and you look here, annotate, look here at the wall. Okay, there's the heel. See how it's hollow in here? You don't really have bars, things like that, because they've all been, and look how narrow the collateral grooves are, just like on my mirror. Okay. But now let's go back to what's going on now. Just a minute. Let me a second. Where are you? Okay, so she was just kind of starting to open up some here, but believe you me, this foot was so super contracted. So let's go back. Just a second here. Okay. Okay, good. We're right there.
It is exploding.
It sure is, isn't it?
Yes.
She's never seen anything like it before.
Yes, because it comes out from inside bigger, larger.
Yeah. Now look here. This is periopal, right?
Yes.
Okay, look how it's growing over the whole frog. See what I mean? It does this to try and hold these feet together, and it's there to help, but then when you're trying to store, it can start to be a hindrance too. But we have to learn how to manage it so that we're not releasing it too soon before the foot has a capsule to be in. because you're growing the capsule back on the foot at the same time, making the capsule larger. So we have to learn how to work with it. And look at the hair. Look at the hair. Even the hair is wrapped in there. See that? How that hair is in that way? That's how wrapped up this foot was. Okay, see? This is periopal. And somehow, some way, that periopal combines with a little bit of frog corium, and they just hold this foot together. You can see the bulbs just really wrapped in there.
I think it takes years to get that out for the aged horse, or if you ever fully do. Just
Yeah.
it's incredible tissue.
Yeah, it sure is. So anyway, that's what you can see how squeezed the bulbs are together.
You cannot enlarge the hoof capsule. You have to wait until it grows from the periople band from up to the ground.
Yeah.
So you need on this hoof, you need 2 changes. I mean, 7 centimeters, let's say,
Yeah.
8 and 7. You need 1 year, full a year, to restore this foot.
Yeah. Well, and she's been working on this for a long time, but now it's finally starting to. This would, you know, I don't know. With what we know now, I mean, now we know more than when she started. You know,
Of course.
We've been learning all together and along. But anyway,
it looks much better, but it's that I was referring to the micro trims we have to do.
Yeah.
Every now and then, every week, every 10 days, just take a little bit off, and sometimes you have to sacrifice the height of the heels, so you don't have all these stretched forces.
Yeah. Like
you have to think about forces. They go to the hoof itself. I mean, to release some forces. Or with
So I have a question.
Okay.
May I ask a question about these micro trims?
Yeah.
So if you were to do a micro trim, say on Anya, would you just start with keeping the frog in play and letting everything else just trim it, self-trim?
No, you want to, you just don't want to take off a whole heck of a lot, but you still have to start making boundaries. You have to have boundaries on your pillars up here. Okay, so that you're kind of getting to where you understand how to shape a toe and stuff, so that it's not square or round. You have to have boundaries on bars. It's just that you're not, and you have to have boundaries on everything, but it's just that you're not doing a full-on wham, you know, big trim like you waited 6 weeks and like I did last time. And sometimes it's good to wait 6 weeks. I don't know. Because that happened too. Because like even with Angelique, she had to go somewhere for a while and wasn't able to trim her horse, and it actually turned into a good deal. It's not that right?
Yes, it is. Yes. And
yeah,
I will send you the photographs. But the thing is that I use 2 weapons. The beveling, that takes the wall faster to the ground, and it gives some chance to the capsule to change the shape of it. It helps when you bevel the heel pillars or the toe pillars, it gives you some versatility. The hoof changes. So I use local beveling.
Just around
And
the
the
edge. You
other
don't
thing-
mean bevel. You don't mean beveling off these heel points, right?
No, I mean
Yeah.
the pillars, the heel pillars,
Yeah,
the side of the hoof.
right here.
There, yes.
Yeah,
there.
just the side. Yeah, not like the back.
Not the back, the
Okay.
side. And the toe bevel, the toe pillar gives one small chance to come the whole hoof further back.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. And stuff, giving the wall room to move without overdoing it to where you're weakening that sole support that the wall also gives on the upper outer edge.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
micro trim enables the horn tubules to kick in via the beveling is what I'm thinking I hear.
Yeah,
Right.
Okay.
Thank you. You
Yeah.
you explain what I try to explain.
You explained it well.
And sometimes I keep the bars a tad smaller, shorter.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's
This
very
helps.
important as well.
Yes, this helps to get the whole back of the hoof, the caudal foot, a bit faster backwards. And then, of course, you have to take in mind the apex of the frog, because you come a week later and you see that the apex of the frog is very long.
Yeah,
And you have to take it a tad back.
So what
What
I
I
think I'm
show-
hearing you say is that there's a micro trim protocol within the tack boundaries to help reverse engineer these hooves. It's just what
Exactly.
yeah, just like if the horse, well, we took him and turned him out in the desert, and stuff, he'd eventually wear some of it off and probably do his own feet, and stuff. But we just kind of keep it worn off as if he's moving himself, except sometimes we have to do more because of the distortion. And I want to show you something here too, which happens to be
Very
something that I
important-
actually,
Sorry, Linda, it's very important to keep in mind this. I never have a horse that felt sensible or lame after my trim. I do very little, but the hoof reacts by its own. So this is a rule. Never lame a horse, even for a few days. I mean, after these little trims, these micro trims, they're never sensible. That's it, what I do.
okay, see, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so I'm gonna have to go pretty soon. You guys can keep talking. Just a minute.
Thank you for today.
Linda, this is Elena from Hungary. Are you off?
No, she went off for some time.
Oh, Angeliki,
think
I
it's-
just have a question. I miss you all. Missed you all. I have
Okay,
a
can you
friend.
hold on one
Yeah.
second and then ask, okay? Because I'm gonna have to
Okay.
go, but you guys can stay.
Okay.
Okay, and that is, I just want to show you something real quick because I have got to go, some stuff going on here. Okay, I want to show you something here about the bar and the shape of the sole. Okay, because people question that. Just a minute here. Let me get to annotate. Okay, here is a section which I originally marked wrong. Okay, just a minute. Okay, so here is your bar. Right here is the bar. Okay, here's the collateral groove, whatever you want to call it. Here's the frog. Here is the soul. Right here. So this is the soul. Then the bar is in between here. Here would be the lamina line, I do believe. But what I want you to see is how the shape of the soul, if you're looking at your horse's foot, okay, how the bar, look at where this bar really wants to end, which is right here. And then this is soul. And then over here is your wall. Okay, so I'm saying this because a lot of people think they got to grow this bar up to here to be level with the wall. Do you see what I'm saying? But that is not the shape of the foot. And so this is another reason why you need to keep your bars down. And we also keep them even a little shorter as far as, well, this part here, this part here, you know, like they end in here rather than letting them grow clear up into here. Okay. Now I have to take my husband something. He's at work and I have to go. So
Thank
I'm
you
also
very
gonna
much, Linda. Go, do your
Thank you
thing.
very much. It was very
Okay.
useful today.
Thank you,
Hey.
Linda.
Hey, you guys are great. I'm going to stop the YouTube thing so it doesn't keep going on forever. So
Thank
whatever you
you.
say
Bye-bye.
from here on out won't be on there. Let me see here. Clear all drawings. And I wish I could just hand over the controls to somebody, but I can't. But you guys are welcome to have all kinds of conversation or whatever you want. Okay, Dare?
Thank you,
Thank you
Linda.
very much,
Okay.
Linda.
Hey, everybody take care. We'll see you next week.
And we
See you.
love
Bye-bye.
you.
Okay, and Tiffany, get together with me this week and I will try and help you more with your horse, okay?
Okay, I accept. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Okay, dear. Bye,
Be
everybody.
safe. Thank you.
Bye. So, Angeliki, can I?
Yes, love. Yes, I'm here.
Listen, I'm happy to hear your voice, and I sent you pictures